Hello, this is the telephone.
Hello, is this Kevin?
Yes, it is. Is this Dustin?
It is. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you.
We got Carl on the phone as well still, I hope.
Hey, Kev.
Hey, how you doing, Carl?
Great. Happy to be on the phone.
Beautiful. Well, guys, first of all, I'm here with my co-host, Ton.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Hey, Ton.
Ton. What is that? What is that short? Or
Ton? Like
Ton.
2,000 pounds.
huh?
No, if
We
you
go
want...
by metrics down here.
Yeah. If you want the real story, I'll give it to you guys because I think you guys are great. It's not really that exciting. My name is Justin, and then Dustin is the other one, which that would just be lame. But my name is spelled Juston, and ever since Dusty first knew me, he called me Ton.
So why isn't Dustin 10 then?
I don't
That's
know.
true. You can call me Tin.
He
if that...
sounds kind of
What's
tinny
the
sometimes.
10 and Ton.
Tin and Ton. We'll work on that. We'll switch it up for you.
How's the
So
weather up in Minnesota?
It's cold.
it's pretty cold.
Yeah, getting any precipitation?
No, not really. Are you coming up this way, or?
No, I know some people that are going up that way. Just
okay.
wondering, but I find the weather kind of interesting sometimes.
Yeah, we were getting it. Like, it was raining yesterday, and then it pretty much froze overnight, but it was bad. But anyway, we've got you guys on the line. Now, is this true? You guys kind of know Dusty?
Sort of.
In some way. You guys have talked before?
Oh yeah, for over Carl more specifically than myself. That we've been in contact with him for several years. Sure.
See, now this is...
It's true. I'm a fanboy.
Yeah, he like keeps it all. He keeps it inside. But I've been telling people this is his pinnacle achievement here, talking to you guys.
Like a dream come true.
It is, yeah. We came to the station that other week, and we had that Fishmasters DVD you guys sent, and I was like, oh man, it's like your dream come true here. We stuck it in the computer instantly, and we're watching Fishmasters. It was awesome. It was great.
Glad you liked it. I think it's more of a nostalgia thing than anything else. When you first started watching it, you were probably doing things when you were much younger and enjoying your life, and it's kind of one of those sidebars, and you attribute a lot more positive aspects to it than really it has.
Well, here's what I can tell you guys. Now, Dusty and I lived together at one point in time. He had this. His room was basically like in a porch. It was full of windows, and the floors were all uneven, and it was just a piece of crap house, and nothing sealed. So it'd be the middle of winter and like 15 degrees in there. But he would still sit there at his little desk. He'd have his little TV there, and he'd be playing Fishmasters videos all night long, like before bed. So I would go in there to be like, hey, what's up, pal? And I'd sit down on his bed, and then there'd be Fishmasters going. And that's how I was introduced. Like, what are you watching over here? This couple of guys doing some quirky stuff. And so that was my introduction.
You're really painting me. It's sort of as kind of a creep here.
No, I think it's great. It's I think you're a great.
Yeah,
great
that could have gone in two directions. You walking in on him, watching two guys on a tape. I'm glad it went in the positive direction.
Yes. See how I did that?
Yeah, that was real nice.
I'm
How
good.
about we ask you guys some questions while we have you here?
Aight.
First of all, is this the first time both Fishmasters have been interviewed? I mean, maybe since the show's been off the air?
I think, yeah, definitely since the show's been off the air. I think it is the first interview.
Yes.
So this is
We
exclusive.
did an interview or two here for the college radio, and that was about it
Okay.
as far as radio.
And there's an actual purpose here. We're pretty dull otherwise. That we've got the archived DVDs out now that people can actually watch with some decent quality. So there's a purpose. Otherwise, there is no reason to talk to the two of us, really.
Well, can we ask kind of how did you guys come up with the idea for Fishmasters?
That was like
Well-
back in '91, and we were watching the actual fishing shows, and just thought that was just a bizarre thing to have on television. Just a bizarre thing to watch, people catching fish. And then we thought we'd go out and make a fake one, and the original idea was to make it look like a real fishing show and then just stick it on the cable system and just kind of mess with people, but then it kind of evolved from that. But it was basically just like, it seemed like an easy thing to shoot, and that we could have fun parodying the actual fishing shows.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in the living room and Carl and I deciding we could do that, because at the time the quality of fishing shows was terrible. The video quality and the long periods of silence, with them just kind of standing there looking around. We thought we can do that, and of course, if you know Carl, Carl's the really, really funny one, and I'm the really, really stupid one. You think he could pull that off, and we had, some advantages in the fact that we had worked at small market television markets, so we knew how to do everything. So we incorporated, that knowledge into the fact that we could emulate a fishing show, and then of course Carl could pull it off. So that was my approach to it.
It was interesting because we took the tape to the public access channel, which is supposed to be for the public, and they wouldn't air it. They just kind of saw it and thought, it was a piece of crap. Why would we put this on public access? It's like, because you're public access. So we kind of forgot about it, and then a couple years later, or about 2 years later, MTV somehow got a hold of a copy and gave us a call, and they wanted us to be VJs. But they wanted us to be Pauly Shore was leaving. They wanted us to be the two Pollys. And they basically wanted us to imitate him, and we just thought that would have been even worse than Fishmasters. So we basically threw together a tape of us introducing videos, but we did it as the Fishmasters. And we ended up sending them about 6 shows, and nothing ever came of it. But that led to getting the show on at the local NBC affiliate, and then we got it on the sister station up in the San Jose area, and then we eventually got it onto a couple other markets, just kind of random. And Minnesota was one of those random markets.
Yeah. It was on Sunday morning, I guess, at 12:30 a.m. it was on. So.
Okay, that's about the best place for it.
So you guys, I mean, it was a lot of back and forth and different goofy stuff going on in that show. How much of that was really scripted, or was it all mostly improv, or what did you guys do?
Some of it was all improv. If we had other people involved, we'd write a loose script so they'd have something to go by. But most of it was just kind of the gist of the show. We'd just get together and say, this is what we're doing today, and then most of it was improv.
It would turn into, if we did something and it seemed kind of funny, you take the next step and go rent the Elvis suit.
Yeah.
Like literally that hour, you would get in the car, if we had gas money, and drive down to the costume shop and shoot the Elvis scene downtown. If we were doing something like that, we'd talk about Elvis and we'd think, hey, we should dress up like Elvis. You kind of just did it as you went, but you did it all at once in one day.
And I think we got really lucky with the people we ran into, because there were some great characters that weren't actors, but just kind of people that we randomly ran into, and we used them on the show, and they were fantastic.
And we used pretty much everything we shot. Like if we shot it, we figured out a way just to throw it in there. We didn't care if it was horrible or whatever, because at least it was, an authentic effort, I guess is the way we thought about it.
And the formats would change, too. You'd see parts of the show that would be shot, like on the home video camera, VHS camera, that was available in 93 and 94. And then it would switch to like a beta cam that was used at the station that was really nice quality. And then it would switch to some other format, just kind of whatever we had at the time. So there was no consistency in the look of the show, really, except that it was bad quality.
But at the time, it looked like a fishing show. You've got to remember that's how we rationalized everything. It's like, this is supposed to be a fishing show. We didn't think about, when we were old men and trying to put it on DVD, that it wasn't going to be really acceptable as far as the video quality. I mean, it is. It's a watchable DVD, but certainly we didn't have the mindset of, hey, we can make money on this and do something with it. It was just, let's go be as stupid as possible. And then people kind of enjoyed the stupidity. It wasn't a stretch for us either, really.
So then you guys, when you were shooting it, a lot of it was in public places, and that would seem like it'd be difficult, but maybe for you guys that was kind of an advantage because of the people you ran into?
Yeah, I think because we ran into so many characters, it just worked out into the show really nicely. And it was kind of before there was a lot of those kamikaze type shows out there. So when we were shooting, a lot of times people, by the time they figured out what we were doing, we were already off doing something else. So we didn't get shut down a lot as far as people wanting filming permits and that kind of thing.
Yeah, there really wasn't in the early 90s. It was kind of embarrassing because what were we doing going downtown and, interacting with people with a camera across the street that they didn't see or whatever. It was kind of, it was uncomfortable at first. And when you're dressed like idiots, in a cosmopolitan town where you dress like Elvis and you're not coming out of character and they're interacting with you, it's a little unsettling. At least it was for me.
And our cameramen were always embarrassed by us. They would get further and further away, so you have all these really long shots just because they didn't want to be seen with us. And then the people would be freaking out like, what are these guys doing?
Yeah.
Or people would recognize later on after, we'd done about 30 episodes, we did one, where we're like monkeys on the street. And people would come up and, hey, you're the Fishmasters, and they'd start trying to have a conversation. They didn't see the camera across the street, so we're still acting like monkeys. They're getting pissed off.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, we want to ask you, having people on the show, various characters, how did you guys wind up having the beet farmers on?
I think I ran into the beet farmers when I was just kind of bar hopping, and they had played a gig, and then they were downtown, and we kind of hit it off with Country Dick. And then I told them about the show, and they were all into it. And then they let us go videotape them at a sound check, and we turned that into the show. But they were just real approachable and real, I told them I had a fishing show and asked them if they wanted to be in it, and they were sure. And that was just kind of a random thing too. I mean, I just happened to run into that. I wasn't real familiar with the band when I met. I'd heard of them, but I only knew like their kind of novelty hits. And then once I ran into them, I went out and started listening to their stuff, and it was a pretty layered band there. And he's, I think, the only person that we shot that was a relative of one of the Fishmasters. That was kind of incorporated into
Yeah.
it.
So you guys, were you ever able to contact Midi, Maxie, and FD, or was that just an inside joke? Or?
No, that was just a total inside joke.
That's too bad. You weren't able to find them.
Yeah, I'd like to get in touch with them at some point. We got those girls from, they did it was a mock rock thing. They did a lip synced that video, and then we picked out a couple of the people that were performing to be in future Fishmasters episodes. So they just did the same thing that I had seen them do in the contest. And then the other people we used in other ways. I don't know if you remember an episode called Reality House, where we had like 20 guest stars on the show, and those were all people who had won karaoke contest appearances on Fishmasters and stuff like that. We used them all in one show. We also had a thing running with a hamburger company called Carl's Jr., where you had the opportunity to win a year's worth of Carl's Jr. cheeseburgers and an appearance on Fishmasters. And that was interesting because we did that about 3 years in a row. And sometimes the people wouldn't want to be on the show. They just wanted the hamburgers. So we basically just say their name, leave it at that.
Yeah.
But the ones that we used, I don't know if you ever saw those episodes. Those guys were great. One guy was an elderly guy, like pushing 90, and he did the show, had a great time with it. And the other guy was just a middle-aged guy, and we just kind of followed him around while he ate his hamburgers.
What would you guys say were your favorite episodes, or do you have one in mind? Your favorite episode?
I don't really. I think there were a few that were more. They looked more complete because a lot of the episodes just kind of would wander, where there really wasn't much of a plot or anything. It was just two idiots in a boat. But every once in a while, we'd get one where it seemed to have a start and a middle and an end. So I think some of those would be more of my favorites, like the Todd episode and the Bikini Girl and the Fish Mobsters. And I think Minnesota, I think you guys only saw like the first 50 episodes. I don't think you saw the later seasons there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I had probably at least 30 of them I recorded on VHS tapes.
That was probably about all there was there.
Which ones Which ones are your favorites, if you had to list a couple of them? That's you lose perspective when you're making them.
Yeah, I would say the Fishing Elvises that you were mentioning was probably one of our favorites, and I always liked the one where you guys went to the celebrity convention, and Sergeant Slaughter was there, and Webster, and
that was funny too, because we did that one actually looking to syndicate the show, and then just kind of got out on the floor and started messing with people, and then the next year after that, everybody was doing that, like Entertainment Tonight and all of those types of shows would send people out basically doing the same thing, just, approaching the stars and interviewing them, just more of a kamikaze style. But when we were doing it, I don't think they realized exactly what we were doing. Everybody was kind of taken aback by it and wondering, who are these weird guys and why are they bothering the celebrity? And the wrestlers turned out to be, those guys were the best sports of all as far as playing along or doing little bits with us. Those guys were great. Whereas your actual actors and celebrities a lot of times just were afraid and they'd kind of send their handlers out to get us away.
I think, for me personally anyway, the one where you get head lice might be one of my favorites too. It had a lot of two-parters, I remember.
That one was basically, I had shaved my head in real life and just thought we could use that. Make an episode around that.
I always enjoyed the Halloween and the hunting episode. I don't know if you saw those two.
I don't remember the Halloween one, but I think the hunting one I did have on tape.
Yeah, that was kind of a departure and more of a well-organized preparation because we did have some interaction with people in those.
Yeah, it always varied. I mean, there was some shows where we just went out and shot, and there was no idea of what we were going to do. And then on occasion, there was a show where there was a loose script and an idea, and where it played out more like a complete story. And then there were the ones where we just tortured the audience. We just thought this would be funny if people are flipping channels and come across this. I don't know if we aired one where we never said anything. It was just sitting in the boat, and as soon as we would turn to start to talk, it would go to a commercial. And that one only aired once, and then the guy that was running the tape erased it so that it wouldn't air again.
Oh, wow.
It's like it was too brutal. And then we had one that just had a slide of us up on the air that just played like you were on hold for the whole episode. Where it was like, we appreciate you tuning in to Fishmasters. But then it wouldn't come back. It just stayed on that slide. And then I thought that would be funny if you were flipping channels. I didn't expect anybody to sit there and watch the whole thing, for 30 minutes watching this slide on the air. But they did.
Yeah, well, I did, so that's for what that's worth.
I think that shows how bad the rest of the TV viewing is in general on cable. If you're willing to watch that, it's either that or a paid advertisement or something, usually at that time.
Well, you guys did the show for quite a few years, but what led to the end of the show? What was the decision behind that?
It kind of, for me, it sort of became a conflict of interest because the TV station where we were doing the show, I eventually became the program director so that I was able to keep the show in its time slot and where it normally would have, gone off the air at some point because it ran for from 93 to 2004, and there was only close to 100 episodes. So you were getting a lot of repeats and a lot of reruns. And then I determined at one point that, when the ratings weren't there, that I would pull the show. And the ratings never really went away, but the station sold. And I was kind of worried about the new people coming in and seeing, like, I'm the program director, and here's my show. It's kind of like conflict of interest. And we hadn't shot any new episodes in a while. I mean, it had been in reruns for about 2 years. And another thing that kind of ended it is I went on vacation, and I came back to work, and they had taken away the machines that I edited the show on. Just kind of, because we sort of did Fishmasters. They didn't want to see us producing the show or doing anything with it. They were kind of like, we like the show and we appreciate, but we don't want to see you guys doing it. So we'd come in on the weekends and late at night and that type of thing. And when I came back, and those tapes had gone, and they had moved on to doing things on computer instead of actual videotape. And at that time, the computers wouldn't hold a 30-minute show. And I don't think anybody realized that. So it just kind of unceremoniously just kind of ended it.
Yeah, it's hard to sustain something for, even a couple of years. And we were just doing it. We had real jobs and real lives. To try to pump something out like that every week, which we did for several years, start to fade pretty soon, when there's no, other than, the fact that we enjoyed doing it, of course, and it was a funny show and we got positive feedback. But to sustain that beyond, those credits is pretty tough to do after a couple of years. And I definitely started fading within a couple of years on that. My kids started getting to the age where I was working the 1 in the morning overnight type shift where I worked, and then, my kids had sports events and things, and then to run out in between whatever I was doing to go shoot something and try to be energetic and funny, it gets a little old. So
and for me, it was kind of like, we'd been doing it for so long, and like Kevin said, we were kind of burning out on it. And since I had said that once the ratings dropped that I would pull the show, when the ratings would start to go down, I would think, oh, great, now I can, I'll take a break from it for a while. But then the next book would come out and the ratings would be back up. Like, okay, we'll keep it going a while longer. But it was mainly just running the reruns. And I think what was happening is in the college town, as the new students would come in, that was kind of like the initiation. They would have to watch the local crap that was on, so the ratings would go back up again. And at the end of the semester, they would die out. Then the new semester, they'd pick up again.
Well, you guys mentioned the DVD that you just released, obviously. You had said you had close to 100 shows. Can we expect to see them all released eventually, or what are your plans with that?
That's the hopes. We're hoping that if we can sell enough of these DVDs that then we can use that money to produce the next set and just kind of keep it going until we've got all 100 of them onto DVD. There's a couple of them, though, that are just kind of recap shows and highlight shows, and I don't know if those would make the cut. And I don't know that the one that's just a slide for 30 minutes. I mean, there might be an edited version of that.
Yeah, you got to put that in there somewhere. Bonus footage.
The completists out there will want those.
The bonus features.
Yes, exactly.
Here's a slide for 30 minutes.
So you guys.
That one's actually YouTube, Carl. That will be back momentarily. If you browse YouTube and look for Fishmasters and then the momentary slide or whatever, you can listen to at least like a 6-minute segment of it. It's pretty funny, actually. The commentary in it, because there is, Carl buried put a bunch of stuff in it besides just we'll be back in a few moments type thing. It's pretty funny to watch.
So it's got to make the cut, is what you're saying.
I would say
more.
It's gotta go in there.
Then again, I mean, we've aired a lot of shows that didn't make the cut, so they might make DVD.
It goes to show you that a lot of people could go out and do a TV show that is interesting, whether it's funny or dramatic or whatever. But it's hard to get into that, to break that barrier of the distributors and who's going to produce a TV show. If you're an outsider type, like we definitely were.
Well, do you guys think maybe any new episodes might ever be filmed, or will we see a reunion at all?
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the Fishmasters as the grumpy old man still trying to do the show. I think that would be interesting. And it's not like there was, it's not like we would lose our looks because we didn't have them to start with. I think that would mainly just if people were interested in that. If the DVDs sell, and there was a time we were trying to work with the Outdoor Channel to get the show on, and they wanted to basically air some of the original episodes and then start shooting new ones in high def. But that was, probably 5-10 years ago.
Wow, that would have been something.
Same with ESPN.
That's kind of been the story of Fishmasters. We always had a deal in the works, and it always would fall through before it would come to completion. And it's pretty amazing that as many people saw the show as they did, because it's almost every deal we did to get it to air in a market would collapse on itself after a few months.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, can you tell everybody where they can purchase the DVD?
It's the Fishmasters merchandise on Facebook. At this point, that's the only place it's available. So if you just go to Facebook, do a search for Fishmasters merchandise, and then that page, and that's where eventually the T-shirts will be for sale and that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
There's some videos on there to watch and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, yeah, anybody within range, we've been telling about the show, so hopefully we'll see those other episodes come out.
Hopefully we didn't kill it in the interview.
No, we really appreciate you guys coming on with us. I get a lot of hassle from Ton here because I bought Carl's hat on eBay.
Listen, there's no hassle. I think it's great.
I feel like
Did it come with the hair in
that's
it?
classic, though, because if anything ever, that's like an original piece of merchandise from the show.
Yes.
So I would think, after we're dead and there's a resurgence in the popularity, then you can get your money back on eBay.
No, you guys don't know Dusty. Now, I'm telling you, he will be buried with that hat.
Here we
He
go.
doesn't sell off anything, this guy. I remember didn't one of you guys make him a box too, like a wooden box? Or is that?
Yeah, cinema box.
Yeah, God.
That was
We have
awesome, by the
a
way.
bait box.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember when he got that thing, and I was like, "What the heck?" And he's like, "Oh," he always tries to play everything off real quiet, like.
That's because you do this if
"Oh,
I
no,
show
it's-
excitement in
no,
something.
Like, Fishmasters,
Were
they
you able
sent
to
me-"
follow? Were you able to follow the instruction guide how to use it, or
Yeah.
you involved?
Yeah, well, Ton showed me, and then I got the gist of it.
Oh man, that was awesome. I think it's great. I mean, basically, it's just like what you were saying. It goes to show that anybody can make a television program, and it really is up to the viewers themselves, the people, on whether or not they like it. And your guys' show is funny. It is funny. And you got guys like Dusty here. Everybody needs a number one fan, is what I said to Dusty. And there it is. I mean,
Okay,
we have fans, you have fans.
So he can make fun of you. What's your favorite show that he can make fun of you about? Does he know what your favorite show is, or one of your favorites?
Oh, now Dusty makes fun of me constantly. So I don't know. What would you think, Dusty? Deathstalker?
Knots Landing, maybe?
I've never watched Knots
Glee?
Landing.
Yeah, Glee. Is it Glee?
No, it wasn't Glee. What it is, okay, I'll tell you. I'll be straight up with you guys. What it is, my probably show that I've watched more than anything, the American Chopper series. And he always comes in and, "Oh, Ton, were you watching a little motorcycle program there?" So, yeah, I get it. Big time for that one.
We'll see.
All right.
I'm sorry.
You make me out to sound like the guy that stabbed John Lennon. It's not like that at all.
I'm trying to tell you it's not my intention. I think it's great.
All right.
And these guys are cool, and you're their fan. I love it.
You're the fan.
I'm leaving. Yeah, apparently.
Well,
There's
he is.
one left.
No, I'm sure.
You need to have some kids so we can have a couple more fans.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying he's definitely the number one fan. It's got to be. I'm sure you guys have plenty of fans, but Dusty's got to be number one.
There you go. Well, before we let you guys go, do you have any final thoughts you want to leave us with?
Carl has those. We discussed them earlier, and he wrote a list of them, so it'll take about 5 or 6 minutes. But go
Okay.
ahead, Carl.
He's lying. I got no thoughts, much less final thoughts. Although we hope people will buy those DVDs so that we can get all of the shows on DVD. It'd be kind of nice to have them for posterity.
And we're working on the
Have all the
upload
episodes
situation,
available.
too. So for people that think that's too archaic, the uploads will be coming.
Awesome. Well, we'll put links to your stuff on our site, and we'll try to get the next sets out as soon as possible.
Oh, that'd be great.
We appreciate it.
At some point, we would do some kind of a reunion, 1 or 2 episodes, like the Gilligans with the Harlem Globetrotters, Gilligan's Island with the Harlem Globetrotters. Type thing.
It would be awesome.
That should be the script, if possible. Just change.
Fishmasters meet the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
Can Dusty be in it somehow? That's the question.
You can star.
I
in it.
was just
We'll
going to
have a
say,
cameo.
Carl and I will drive up there if we shoot a couple, and we'll just sit with you guys and torture you for like a week.
Yes.
Just follow you around. Hey, are you eating that?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That would be awesome.
We're not Harlem Globetrotters, but we'll try our best.
We'll plan on it. We'll figure out a way to do that.
Awesome.
Yes. That's
Brilliant.
beautiful.
Brilliant radio.
It is.
Well, again, thanks a lot, guys. It means a lot to us to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We appreciate
And thanks
you
for
having
the
us.
support over the years, definitely.
And I'm not quite as creepy as Ton is making me out to be.
Oh, man.
But we'll be in touch on the other DVDs, and hopefully it all works out.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks a lot,
right.
guys.
Thank
All right,
you.
we'll see you guys later.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.